Well, I had mechanical abilities, and I was a farmer before I started. And we were starving in the wintertime, and then I'd have to go out and find a job, which I worked in gas stations, pumping gas and working on cars. So I decided to open up my own business, so I did. I opened up a garage repair business and then picked up the towing later. When I first started, it was kind of a mess, but because I started with nothing, and I'd buy a car off of the road, have it parked out front. Next thing you know, the front was full of cars, and the backyard was full of cars, so I had to do something, so I started moving them out in the car, out in the field, and I tried to categorize them, like putting Fords over on one side and Chevrolets on the other side, and foreign cars separate. Another makes had another area, and I kept them pretty well straightened up like that. I'd done most of that by myself when I closed or on weekends. More or less, we ran everybody like as our own family. If your car broke down, we tried to either get it fixed right away, drop everything that we could, and get them back on the road, especially if they had a family. If they had gotten in an accident, that's when I started picking up, getting a wrecker, and then I'd be towing them in. A lot of them, I'd leave them go back there and get whatever they wanted and bring it up and pay me for it. Because it's just me and one other person that we ran the business, and I couldn't afford to have somebody going back there taking parts off. But back then, people would happily go back and get their own parts off. There was a couple of times where I had helped getting people out of the cars when they wrecked, because that was before the fire department didn't have all the equipment they got now. One person I remember real quickly got hit on Route 250, and I was the first one there because I heard the crash from my shop, and I seen it across the road, and I got in my wrecker and ran over there right away, and he was humped over the steering wheel. Blood was coming out, or had his head back, and he couldn't get the blood out, and I pulled his head over, got him to breathe again. And I saved his life, definitely. Well, I think there's a lot of successes that I've done because we made wise decisions. I was growing more and more year after year and getting more customers. And it got so big that I was having to hire more people. And I thought it was very, very successful. I've hired just about every kind you could make of. Ones I didn't hire was bookkeepers or anything like that, because we were able to do it ourselves. Plus I had a brother-in-law that was an accountant, and he'd done all our taxes and everything, so we managed to do it. And then eventually some of my daughters were coming in there, and they were taking over the office. I had a wife that went along with everything, and she ran the office for quite a few years until she hit the lottery and quit on herself, fired herself. And that's when I really missed her, because a lot of times I wasn't around her, and she'd have to holler on the radio for me, how much you want for this, or do we have that, or do we have this? And I'd have to answer her back. She was a big help. Plus she done all my accounting and watched the money real close to make sure I spent it right. Well, I learned a lot. I couldn't really mention everything because there was so much that I learned, and I think my children did, because they picked up a lot of things. And as far as the family, they understood the circumstances a lot of times of why I couldn't be there, or why we had to go someplace. But we was able to take a few vacations eventually when I was in business, maybe 10, 15 years, but it's pretty stressful. I mean, the way we had to raise our family.
Probably right around 7. It's been a lifetime dream. Been doing it all my life. People don't work on their cars. They don't have the abilities to do it because the technology has changed so much throughout the last years, and they're just not able to do it. Electronics are so much more harder for them to comprehend, and it's all electronics that's taken over it. Things have changed through policies and the way that other establishments have run their businesses. So just the technical issues that the state has issued as well has regulated our business between the towing and the auto parts both. All families are a major backbone of what we do, especially my oldest sister that runs the books, and she does a tremendous job. And just the if there's anything that we ever need, we can always reflect on asking one of the family members at one point or another that somebody's diversified in somewhere that they could help us out somewhere. The competition isn't all that great, so that's kind of but it's not a monopoly, so it's kind of hard to say. The towing is kind of competitive because of the fact that everybody thinks that they can make a profit off of buying a truck and going out and towing somebody off of one major crash of some sort. But I don't foresee it being a standout company or occupation to be a part of. But it's made a second generation good living, and hopefully we'll turn into a third generation, and we'll keep plugging away.